Making sure everything's working, chat's up. Just waiting a little bit of a delay on that end. All good. All good, all good. Welcome to News Strip Down, where I dig through all the news and find all the good stuff so you guys don't have to sit there and waste your time watching, your stereotypical news. Yeah, 30 minutes or less. Why? Because anything longer than that's just BS. Sorry, chaotic morning here, there for me. Trying to get my writing in. Some issues here at the apartment. There's water coming into the basement. Yeah, and apparently this is a normal thing here. This is first spring here, and yeah, it might be our last spring here. So today is March 18th, Wednesday, 2026. It's 0 degrees Celsius. You want to guess what that is in Fahrenheit? 32 degrees Fahrenheit. Yay! We just did a life lesson here, you guys. Freezing is 32, 0 is 32, or is 0. You guys, why don't we just go to Celsius? It just makes so much more sense. And price fuel across Manitoba right now. Hoo hoo hoo. Yeah, this is per liter, you guys. Per liter, $1.64.9. So you might as well say $1.65 a liter right now. And it's actually significantly more in Winnipeg. I'm kind of like out in a municipality kind of area, so they kind of restrict the cost of fuel when it comes to like small towns and stuff like that. Yeah, that is cheap. I think down in the States, some people are paying almost $7 a gallon, and that's a US gallon. It's not a true 4 liters. So let's dive into the news after my crazy morning. I can't believe I got this all written today. I'm still dealing with this basement leaking. So yeah, over to Iraq and Kurdistan. Yeah, they striked a deal to start the Kirkuk Kayhan oil pipeline. Like this pipeline's been kind of like not out of commission. They just haven't been using this pipeline for a couple of years, and so yeah, they're going to be opening up this pipeline. It's only going to be pumping about a quarter of a million, so 250,000 barrels daily, and this is kind of this supply chain isn't really going to make a clear change in the price of oil right now. Last I was checking, well, it's so volatile right now, the price of oil per barrel. And then allowing Iraq to be doing this right now is because Iraq is having issues getting their oil out. Uh, so right now, Iraq talks with Iran to allow certain ships through, but Iraq hasn't had any confirmation if they're gonna have safe passage or not. So yeah, so we'll see what happens with that Iraq and getting their straight ships through the Strait of Hormuz. And then over to Manitoba. Yeah, there's actually quite a bit of Canadian Manitoba news right now. Manitoba stores are making customers pay different prices online depending on what time you're making the purchases. And now, yeah, some of the Democratic Party is cracking down on stores that are doing this. Yeah, so for you guys that are out there, online, making purchases, late night purchases, reconsider doing that right now, and definitely look at your receipts because a lot of companies, not just in Canada but in the United States, are doing the exact same thing, and it's pretty much like. It's predatory pricing is what they're doing, and this is extremely illegal, and they should pay the consequences. And like Loblaw is paying that $10,000 fine for inadequate pricing by price shifting things. I think that $10,000 fine that they paid was insufficient. They should be paying at least $100,000, if not more. These should be more substantial fines for like grocery stores taking money out of like consumers' pockets when they're already struggling as it is. And I'd like to see that money that they do have to pay in fines actually go back into the people themselves. US gallon 377. I've seen some places, I don't know if it was in Florida or California, somebody took a picture and it was like really expensive. So 377 a gallon. And then more Manitoba and some Nova Scotia news. RCMP arrested two teenagers, one from Bridgewater, Nova Scotia, and the other from Rivers, Manitoba, after Interpol and FBI authorities alerted Canadian authorities and seized handwritten plans, imitation weapons, hate symbol clothing, and electronic devices, noting that these attacks were still on like in the planning stages right now. So the FBI and Interpol notified CSIS, which then notified the RCMP about these teenagers, and they were planning on attacking schools across Manitoba and Nova Scotia. So good on them for stopping this before it happened. And there's no names for these kids because they are underage, and because of the Canadian Criminal Code, you can't discuss minors' names unless they're going to be tried as an adult. We'll see what happens, see what the charges lead up to here. And as far as I know, one of the students, I think the one from Nova Scotia, was only 15 years old. Yeah, and Rivers, Manitoba, that's only 30 minutes a drive from where I live right now. It's another small town community. Wow, that would have just devastated the town if that would have fallen through. But good on them for getting on top of that. But that really makes you want to question like surveillance. Like we're constantly obviously being surveilled, and right there's a perfect sign of, unwanted surveillance. But by the sounds of it, these kids were going to some sites and stuff like that. And then over to the U.S., the U.S. Federal Reserve was supposed to decide today on whether they're going to raise interest rates to deal with the rising inflation right now. And this was a really big deal right now because this is going to affect car loans, home, your mortgages, other things like that. It could even affect the way that you credit cards take your payments or adjust their payment plans. But as of this morning, yeah, the Federal Reserve decided they're just going to keep things the way they are right now because they're worried about the volatility of things right now, and a lot of people worry about jobs, and there's still a lot of uncertainty in the job sector. And by raising inflation rates, that shows that there's not enough jobs to have for American workers. Oh, and then back over to Canada. Canada's in talks. Well, Canadian government. Okay, Canadian government's in talks right now of abolishing tipping. Okay, as they say, 67% of Canadians are for this. So what they're saying right now is 33% of these people are obviously a waitress or in the hospitality industry. Um, sorry, I shouldn't have read that. Da, da, da. So yeah, obviously this 33% is obviously servers and hospitality people, and this has to be some federal number that they're making up because to see 67% of people are for this, and their excuse is that people are fed up when they go to restaurants and places, and then they're automatically charged a percentage, whether you like it or not. I believe the keg in the city automatically charges you 20%. Or say if you go into Quebec province, you're automatically taken 12 to 14, anywhere up to 20% automatically put on your bill as a tip. As a tip, it's automatic. Like the waitress has nothing to do with it. The hostesses, the businesses have nothing to do with this. This is the Quebec federal government uh, trying to keep track of where tips are going, and they voted for this in way back in the day. So at the end of the day, say if I'm a waiter in Quebec and a table doesn't serve me and the bill is $100, okay, so they're going to get surcharge automatically 14%. If they do not tip me that 14%, that comes out of my pocket at the end of the day. So if I have a bad night where I don't make or nobody tips me, whether how good I am or not, I could owe money to the restaurant at the end of the day. They want that tax money from your tips collected that night as is. which is unbelievable that they even allowed to do something like that in Quebec. And this is the Quebec people for you to even allowing this. Yeah, it sounded like a good idea, but now they have an outline to see how much people get paid here, a tip here, 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 and there. So now they have pretty much like what do you call it? A board of everything that you need to understand where the tips are going. So it's going to make it harder for other people across the country, like Manitoba, Ontario, to lie about their tips. Like I know a lot of servers, and they make crap wages, minimum wage. They need their tips to survive. Some of these servers worked two jobs, and then for them to sit there and take their tips away from them, trust me, as servers, don't tell me that you guys don't lie about your tips. I know everyone does lie about their tips, but as long as you give the government something, they're normally pretty happy with stuff like that. But I cannot see this abolishment in tipping ever happening, and this has to be some type of federal government hoopla. Like I did read this through Global News, which is federally controlled. So yeah, I can't really see this happening at all. And if it does, there's going to be a lot of people really, really mad. And not only that, like you're getting rid of the middle class a little bit more at a time by doing this. You're just making people poorer and poorer. And then what are these servers and waitresses supposed to do? You're just leaving a huge gap now for people to not be influenced to be a good server or to be a good, hostess or in hospitality. Yeah, exactly. And then Alberta, yeah, that separatist group, they're still talking about, starting their own parliament right now. And they got some pretty good funding backing them right now to be able to start this parliament of their own. Don't really know what's happening. It's all just sound bites right now. And then over to Japan. Japan and U.S. Japan Prime Minister announced a new $100 million investment program with the United States to develop AI-driven technology in part to aid the U.S. in shipbuilding technologies. Wow. Can't believe I didn't stutter that bad on that one. So yeah, Japan's making deals with the U.S. Obviously in military and war machine aspect. Uh, it's kind of interesting after announcing this deal though, and then Japan saying that they wanted nothing to do with the Strait of Hormuz or send some type of shipper over there to protect vital shipping routes. But I just find it funny that Japan just announced this deal with the U.S. and then after closing that aid for the Strait of Hormuz. And then in the US here, this is really interesting, you guys. As of today, citizens from 50 different countries will have to pay a bond of $15,000 to apply for a B1 or B2 visa. Okay, a B1 visa is a business visa to the US. Okay, a B2 is a tourist visa. So yeah, to even think about coming to the US, you guys better look into this. Hopefully you don't have airline tickets already purchased because I'd start looking into some of these documentations that the US is starting to enlist here now. And yeah, $15 K bond just to come to the US. Wow. So that's pretty crazy. And then looking into it, like as far as I know, you get it back at the end of the day, like once you come back. But yeah. And then over to Ontario. Good old Premier Doug Ford, Mr. Soundbite himself. Yeah, he's asking Quebec province and British Columbia province to drop their electric vehicle sales targets for the next year. Yeah, he's pretty much crying, saying, yeah, these electric cars that are in the market right now that are coming from China is making Canada less competitive. That's a direct quote. That less competitive. Electric vehicles from China are making the Canadian auto market less competitive. He needs to hire a writer. He needs to hire a writer. Like, obviously, like, does this make sense to you? Anyone? Bueller? 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 And to tell you the truth, I'm still really mad at Doug Ford because he hasn't apologized to the Crown Royal Company in Manitoba for, all the allegations against us or against the company here. There's a lot of other companies in Ontario too that left to the United States. Why aren't you punishing them? I want, still to this day, I want Doug Ford to apologize, a verbal, in camera apology to Crown Royal. Because, like, going after Canadian countries and you say that you're pro Canada and then going after a Canadian company directly, then that is so anti pro Canada. So, you know what, Doug Ford? Still waiting for that apology. And don't worry about the electric vehicles. Don't worry about Quebec. Don't worry about British Columbia. Worry about your own effing province. Sorry, I'm a little mad today because basement's flooding. That's what I've been dealing. I don't know how I got to write all this stuff today, you guys, and that's like, I'm a little, didn't get to comb my hair or anything. I'm covered in dirt. Oh, so yeah, if you guys like the news like this, news stripped down, 30 minutes or less, 30 minutes or less. Why? Because anything longer than that's probably just BS anyways. If you guys like this format, hit the like button, subscribe. I'm close to 1,000 subs. Been around for a while now, and yeah, I could really use that 1,000 subs, you guys, and definitely to get a new apartment, because I'm not staying here another spring apparently. And then at least 7 tanker ships from with Russian oil that were bound for China have been rerouted to India. This is following a waiver allowing India to increase Russian oil purchases. Yeah, yeah. Thanks to the issues that are happening in the Middle East. Yeah. So I don't know. Countries are. You see why Russia and China are kind of keeping their mouth shut. There was some talk today about China telling the Iranian officials, like, "Hey, you guys need to take this deal with the United States. You need to take this deal." And as far as I know, they struck that deal down. They're like, "Hey, we're gonna keep going. We're gonna probably pretty much take this right to the end." And yeah, that ceasefire, yeah, that's off the table completely now. But China was warning, yeah, you should probably stick with that deal. But look at China. China's making good money. Russia's back on the table again now, just over this Iranian stuff. So, it seems like everyone kind of seems to be winning on all sides here, except for Iran. And then General McCaslin, yeah, famous general, yeah, he's still missing. And then a lot of new details about his disappearance coming to light that's still just making more questions. Now they're saying that he left his shoes, his glasses, and his Google Watch and his phone. Like, okay, so he just got sucked up through his house, or like what? But what's funny though is a colleague of his, Monica Riaz. Yeah, she disappeared 9 months ago after on a hike with a friend of hers. Friend was about 30 feet ahead of her. Always kept checking back to see if she was behind. And one time he turned around on this little trail and she just poof, gone. So it kind of makes me kind of wonder, like, were these two maybe possibly having an affair and this is a way to just disappear? And with McCaslin's like background and stuff like that, he could probably disappear if he wanted to quite easily, if he wanted to himself. So I never really got a good look at his wife, but maybe that's why. This Monica Rios, she's a pretty good looking lady. Wow, and especially for her age. I believe she's like 68 or something like that when she went missing. Oh, so yeah, that's it for the news today, you guys. I got a lot of stuff. I'm gonna do a live after chat here a few minutes after I end this. Talk about more of the BS stuff that I won't talk about on here. Like I said, 30 minutes or less. Why? Because anything longer than that's just BS. And yeah, I'm here Monday to Friday, 4 to 4:30 p.m. Central Time. And yeah, that's it for the news today. And let's end things that happened today in history. March 18th. 1965, Alex Leonov became the first person to conduct a spacewalk for 12 minutes. Good on him. And then March 18th, 1990, the largest art heist in U.S. history, where 13 pieces of art worth $500 million were stolen from an art museum in Boston, Massachusetts. And March 18th, 1942, Jackie Robinson and Nate Moreland were allowed to try out for the Chicago White Sox and were allowed to continue playing. Yeah, if you don't know, they're two black baseball players, and the Chicago White Sox are very supremacist, let's say. And that's pretty much it for things in history that intrigued me. Everything else is just nonsense. And then famous birthdays, March 18th, 1858, Rudolf Diesel, the creator of the diesel engine. He passed in 1913 at the age of 55. It's probably from, siphoning all that diesel probably caught up to him. And then March 18th, 1970, Queen Latifah is 56 years old. I will not talk about the Iran war on here. If you stick around, I have another live after this where I will do all BS news. And this is just news stripped down for people, just want to stare at the wall after, instead of watching their regular, broadcasters, all the drama news. No drama here. So, I am out of here today, you guys. I'll be back for the lives. I gotta go clean up some more water, and then I should be back shortly. I'll be back in about maybe 20 minutes. I already have the live booked up there, so you can just hit the notifications and it'll pop right up. But news stripped down. Like I said, I'm here Monday to Friday, 4 to 4:30 p.m. Central Time. And yeah, guys, hit the like button, subscribe. And for you guys want to pop in after, I'll see you all over there.